Hey everyone, Scott here, and in this video, I'm going to be going over how to launch and rank your product using Amazon PPC. I always enjoy talking about launching and ranking products. It's one of the most important topics for Amazon sellers, and there's tons of methods and strategies available out there, and it's always changing. So I thought it'd be helpful to do a video on one of the best methods that everyone can do, and that is using Amazon PPC. I'm going to be covering how to pick the right keywords, how to set up the campaigns properly, and all the other important details you need to know. And be sure to stay until the end because I'm also going to be covering some of the important questions that I often get, like, do you need reviews before starting PPC? And is there a honeymoon period and should you worry about it? Having a good product launch really helps boost your product towards success. Having a bad launch doesn't necessarily mean that your product is going to fail, but it does make it more of a struggle. That's why having a plan for your launch and being ready to execute it when it's time is so important. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoy getting this type of content for free. Training like this does take a lot of time to put together, so I really do appreciate it. I also read all the comments, so feel free to leave one down below. Let's go ahead and get right into it. The first step is to find out which keywords we want to put the most focus on for ranking. What we want to do is find the best, most relevant keywords our top competitors are ranking well organically for, because if these are the keywords our competitors are ranking the best for, and they're selling the best, then these are the keywords we want to rank our product for as well. I already did a full video on how to find your competitors' best keywords they're making sales on, so in the interest of time, I'm not going to do the full tutorial here again. I recommend watching that video after this one. It's called How to Find Your Competitors' Money Keywords, and I'll have it linked in the description of this video so it's easy to find. But to give a quick overview of the process, what we do is find around 5 to 10 competitors that are most similar to our product. So for this example, I'm going to use a glass French press for this example, as opposed to maybe a stainless steel one or some other material. So I'm gonna use a glass French press, and I'd find the top 10 best-selling competitors that are also a glass French press. Then what I do is come over to Helium 10, and you don't have to use Helium 10. I'm not sponsored or affiliated with Helium 10. It's just a keyword tool I've always used, but there's other tools that can accomplish a similar thing. There's Seller.tools, Managed by Stats, Jungle, Scout, and some other ones available that can do a similar function. But what we do is we take these top 10 best-selling competitors, put their ASINs in here and do a reverse ASIN lookup. And what that does is it finds all the keywords that these competitors are ranking for. Now, obviously that's going to give us thousands or maybe even tens of thousands of keywords to choose from, but we don't want to have all that. We want to filter down to only the best, most relevant ones. So how I do that is I come down here and apply some filters. So the first filter I have here is I want to find keywords with a minimum search volume of 500. And I want the match type to be organic because I want to find organic search results. And then down here, this is the most important part for me, which is the advanced rank filter in Helium 10. So what this stands for is the 7 means that 7 out of the 10 competitors I put in there show me the keywords they're ranked for organically between positions 1 and 30. So position 1 to 30 is basically the top half of the front page of search results, and that's really where a majority of the organic sales are going to be taking place. Now, depending on your product category, how many competitors there are, how much sales volume there is, you might have to play with these filters a little bit. I always try to get it down to about 30 or less keywords. You'll see I have 41, which is totally fine. And then you'll usually go through here and I'll just filter out anything that's like brand name keywords or keywords that are not relevant to my product and get rid of those. Then the next step is to find 3 to 5 keywords we want to be our focus keywords for ranking. So these are the top 3 to 5 keywords we want to put extra attention towards for ranking. And there's a few different criteria I look at. One of them is search volume. I have this sorted by search volume right now, but obviously we want to make sure if we're going to rank for a keyword, we want to make sure there's enough search volume there to make it worth ranking for that keyword. So if we do rank for it, we actually do make sales. The other criteria I look at is average competitor rank. This will tell me if a keyword is more relevant or not. So the higher all the competitors on average are ranking for a keyword, that's probably a pretty relevant keyword. You'll notice here, for example, these are all glass French presses. So large French press keyword, the average competitor rank is position 20, close to position 21. But right below that, we have French press glass, and that is position on average 12.8. So we know that French press glass, in that case, it's probably a more relevant keyword to my product because mine is not just a French press, it is a glass French press. Then I also look at relevance, like the overall relevance for the keyword. And this is really the most important part that I want to stress for you. And that is I like to find keywords for my focus keywords to share the same keyword phrase. So as an example here, we'll take French press. French press is probably the most important keyword phrase for my product. So I want to find 3 to 5 keywords that have good search volume, good relevance, and also share that keyword phrase of French press. So we have French press coffee maker, that's one right here. You just have French press, that also shares that. French press coffee would be a keyword that I'd eliminate because it tells me they're looking for like coffee beans and not an actual French press. Come down here, large French press, that might be a good one if you have a large French press. And then French press glass is another good one because mine is a glass French press. So I'd go ahead, choose 3 to 5 focus keywords based on that criteria, because when they share the same keyword phrase, when you get a sell through one of those keywords, it will help lift all the keywords that also have that phrase inside of it. So now we have our group of relevant keywords and our 3 to 5 focus keywords. So like I mentioned before, if you're interested to see a more in-depth tutorial of how to go about finding these keywords, go ahead and watch my other video. I'll have it linked in the description down below. And now that we have those, the next step is get into setting up the campaigns. All right, so here's how we're going to set up the campaigns. We're going to create one exact match campaign for each of our focus keywords, and then we're going to create one exact match campaign for all of our other relevant keywords that we found in the previous step. So these are the focus keywords that I picked out. We have French press coffee maker, French press glass, and glass French press. Now, the reason why I picked those, as I explained earlier, good search volume, relevant to my product, and they all share the keyword phrase French press. Because each time a sell or an order is placed through one of these keywords, it's going to help lift all the other keywords with French press inside of it. And the reason why we're doing single keyword exact match campaigns for our focus keywords is it allows us to have very precise control over the budget, over the placements, and over the bids that you just can't have when you have multiple keywords inside of the same campaign. As a secondary thing as well, you can also do a product targeting campaign, targeting the top 10 competitors from the last step as well. But in this video, I'm just going to focus on the keyword campaigns. So let's go ahead and walk through setting up one of these campaigns. When you go to create a new campaign, we're going to go ahead and do a sponsored products campaign. Go ahead and hit continue. For the campaign name, you can use whatever you like, but I recommend coming up with some type of naming convention that you can use throughout all of the campaigns that you create. Just keeps things more organized. For daily budget, for the focus keywords, these are the single keyword campaigns. I recommend a minimum of $5, usually somewhere between $5 and $10 is good to start, and then you can adjust it as needed. We can go ahead and keep manual targeting. And then for bidding strategy, we can go ahead and keep it as dynamic bids down only, but fixed bids can be an option as well. I especially like to use fixed bids in situations where my keywords just aren't really getting as many impressions as I think they should. And I've already tried raising the bid and it's just not getting the amount of impressions that I'd like. Sometimes I'll switch it to fixed bids to see if that will help. Then once you've selected the product you're going to be launching, go ahead here, we can keep it keyword targeting. But if you're going to set up the product targeting campaign, you would switch this to product targeting, and then instead of putting in keywords, you put the ASINs of the products you're going to target. We're going to go ahead and do the keyword targeting here. And since we're going to be doing exact match only, we can unselect phrase and broad match, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to select enter list because we're inputting our own keywords. And here's where you'd go ahead and put the keyword. For bid, you can go ahead and keep it as suggested bid, or if you know kind of the general range of where your product cost per click is going to be, go ahead and start it there. You might say, like, you might know around $1, you can start as $1 and gradually raise the bid to see where you start getting impressions, or you can do something like keep it as suggested bid and maybe raise the bid by, let's say, 5 or 10% to start, and then adjust the bid from there. Then we can continue down, and since this is an exact match campaign, we don't have to worry about negative keyword targeting. And then we go down here and launch the campaign. And then from there, you're just going to repeat the process for each of your focus keywords. So you're going to end up with one campaign for each of your focus keywords. In this case, I had 4 focus keywords, so it'd be 4 campaigns, exact match campaigns for those. And then another campaign where you're going to put in the rest of the relevant keywords that we found in the previous step. Now, sometimes if there's a lot of keywords, like let's say you have 30 keywords left over, sometimes what people do is they'll split those up into smaller campaigns just for more control. So if you want to split those up into, let's say, 10 keywords per campaign, or 2 campaigns, 15 keywords each, you can do that. Or if you just want to keep it simple, you can go ahead and just put them all into one exact match campaign. And then once we have the campaigns going, you're going to want to make sure you optimize the bids to show up on the first page. We don't want our ad showing up on the second or third page. We want to show up on the first page. Now, an easy way to check this is actually just to use a private browser, incognito mode, and just go to Amazon, the website, and literally just search your keyword. So I could type in, French press, and I could see where my ad is showing up for that keyword. If I'm on page 2, I'll come back, I'll raise the bid maybe 5-10%. I'll come back in, let's say 15-30 minutes. I'll test it again, see where I'm at, and just keep doing that until I get onto the first page. Then once your campaigns are running, you can go ahead, you can optimize and adjust the bids as needed. So if you're getting a lot of clicks and no sales, go ahead and turn off the keyword. If you're getting some sales, but a really high ACoS, let's say over 100%, you might want to try lowering the bid a little bit to see if you can make the keyword a little more profitable and lower the ACoS. If you're getting good sales for the keyword, then maybe you want to increase the bid a little bit, see if you can get some more impressions for the keyword. It's hard to give a precise number, like after 10 clicks with no sales, turn off the keyword, because some products that are very competitive, they might have a $3 cost per click. And if you wait till 10 clicks, you're spending $30 before you turn off the keyword, which is pretty high. So you'll have to adjust the rules based on your cost per click. If your cost per click is 50 cents, you can obviously let it run for a little bit longer before making these decisions. But you want to make sure you also leave yourself a couple days before optimizing, because it can take a couple days before orders show up in the Amazon keyword reports. So you might look the next day and say, oh, I got no sales, make some changes. And then the day after that, the orders show up and you're just messing things up. So wait at least a couple days before or always be optimizing a couple days back. So if it's Wednesday, be optimizing for, let's say like Monday or Sunday and previous from there. And you always want to make sure that you're tracking your keywords. Now, Helium 10 and other similar software, Jungle Scout, all these other ones, they have keyword tracking as a part of it. So you put in the keywords, you'll be able to tell whether your keywords are improving, whether they're getting worse. A lot of people don't know this, but bad PPC can actually affect your ranking. So if you have a keyword that's just performing really poorly, has terrible conversion rate, then that could actually be hurting your ranking more than helping. So you want to always be tracking your keywords, and if you make any changes to your PPC, you can see how that affects your keyword ranking. Then after, let's say, about 1 to 2 weeks of your launch, you can start adding in these other campaigns like broad match, phrase match, auto match campaigns, and you can also add in the other types of ad campaigns that there are. Amazon keeps adding more and more different campaign types. But the reason why we focus on exact match right at the beginning is, like I mentioned before, is we just want to feed Amazon for our own ranking the most relevant, most important keywords in the beginning, so they know where to rank us for those keywords. And I know it can be difficult to make the decision to turn off a keyword, especially if it's a super relevant keyword that you think you should be converting for, but sometimes for whatever reason, it's just not working at that time. You can always, after you get some more reviews, or maybe after you optimize your listing some more, test the keyword again and see if it performs better at that point. PPC is a consistent game of optimizing and testing, and just because a keyword wasn't working before doesn't mean it won't work in the future. And then if you're doing your launch and it's just going terribly, your PPC is not converting at all, then there's a couple of things you can do. You can try to optimize your main image, try optimizing your title. You can try optimizing your A+ content if you have access to brand registry already, and see if you can improve like your click-through rate, improve your conversion. Another thing you can do is you try adjusting the pricing. Sometimes if you have no reviews, no social proof, you might need to lower your pricing a little bit to be more competitive with the people that already have a lot of reviews. Or if you started your pricing really low, lower than what you want it to be, and you're still not converting, you might want to try raising your price, because it's possible that people are seeing you as a cheap option and not wanting to purchase from you because your price is so much lower than everyone else. So it's always something you have to be testing. And then you can also help incentivize the purchases by adding a percentage off or dollar off coupon to your listing during this initial launch phase to help entice people to order from you when you don't have as many reviews as everyone else. Now let's get into some of the important questions that I get. The first question I get a lot is, do you need reviews before starting PPC? And my answer to that is, I don't wait to get reviews before I start PPC, but how well the PPC does initially can vary based on how good the product is, how good the listing is, and the competition. A lot of times, no reviews are needed to have immediate success with a product if you have everything else dialed in, but it is easier to succeed initially at PPC if it is a less competitive category. But even just one 5-star review can greatly increase your conversion rate and improve the performance of your campaigns. So I recommend when you're initially launching, you have some type of plan to get some initial reviews for your listing. If you have no reviews and your PPC is doing really poorly, I'd first try to optimize the main image, the title, or the A+ content if you have access to that already. You can also try to play with the pricing of your product or add an incentive like a coupon to your listing. If none of that improves the performance of the PPC and it's still doing really bad, then I'd go ahead and pause the campaigns, wait until you at least get one review, and then go ahead and start things back up again. The next question I get a lot is there a honeymoon period, and what does that really mean? A simple way to explain it is that the honeymoon period is a period of time where your listing first becomes active and Amazon doesn't have any data for your product. They don't have any sales information. They don't know which keywords you're going to be most relevant for and how you're going to perform for those keywords. And they're trying to figure out where to place you in the rankings. So during this time period, it can be easier to rank for keywords if you feed Amazon the right information. And that's why it's so important to capitalize on this honeymoon period. And also that's why I don't wait to start Amazon PPC until I have some reviews, because that can take some time initially. Now, no one knows for sure 100% how long the honeymoon period lasts. Most people say it's somewhere between 2 and 4 weeks. But I always operate my launch like it's only 2 weeks. That's the way I make sure I'm doing everything I can to capitalize on this time period and I'm not wasting any time. And that's a basic breakdown of my launch and rank strategy with Amazon PPC. Of course, there's a lot of advanced strategies and tactics you could get into. And if you ask 5 different Amazon PPC agencies or experts how they do it, you'd probably honestly get 5 different answers. And there's no real wrong way to do it as long as you're producing the right results. Personally, I like to keep things easy to implement and focused on what's most effective. And this video will give you a really solid foundation for your launch. And something important to know as well that's not really covered in videos covering this subject on YouTube, and that is that sometimes PPC alone is not enough to get you into the top positions for certain keywords, especially for very competitive products. You may need to implement, in addition to this, some other ranking tactics and strategies to help boost you up to the top. If you're interested in me doing more videos on different types of ranking tactics, go ahead and leave a like on the video and leave a comment below letting me know. I hope you found this video helpful. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.